What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 42, I do believe. I might be wrong about that, I'm not entirely sure, but it's another episode of Career Mode anyway, and today, guys, we are indeed in the FA Cup final against Manchester United. Of course, you would have seen the last episode. Manchester United is the team we're facing, so it's a repeat of the 2004 final. I can't remember what the score was that day, though. I know I think it was 2004, I'm pretty sure it was. My memory's not that great, but yeah, Man United v Millwall repeated that final many years ago, but I can't remember what the score was, so please don't remind me. But anyway, yeah, we're going to be trying to, trying to make sure that that final doesn't repeat itself, and the squad is not that great, actually, for fitness. I was a little bit worried about this. We played United in midweek, of course, and rested the side. Yeah, it's still not that great, is it? Ben Taleb and Gu are probably going to have to come off. Oh, goodness gracious me. I think we'll just have to stick with what we got, to be honest, and hopefully it doesn't cause too much of a problem. We had the same problem against City, but we didn't go to extra time in that game. I'd imagine if we go to extra time we're going to get some injuries, but seeing as we're safe in the league, I guess it doesn't really matter too much now. But anyway, yes, it is of course the FA Cup final against Manchester United, and it is a live commentary as well. This is the first one of the series, so if you're new to this series, you're new to my channel, basically in career mode, we do live commentaries when we reach finals of competitions, and the reason being is quite simple. It varies up the episodes a little bit, and it stops them from being the same kind of format every single time. So it's a live commentary, and it's also a sort of a Q&A type thing. You know, it's not like a traditional Q&A with a face cam and whatnot, but it's a Q&A, and if you want to get involved, if you enjoy these type of videos and you want to get involved with questions, then you can follow me on Twitter. It's @DocLanders. There's also a link to my social media stuff in the description if you want to follow me on Twitter or like me on Facebook or whatever else you want to do. And yeah, you can get involved and ask me some questions. I'll tweet out when I need some, and yeah, you can help get involved with the videos. But yeah, it is a sort of a Q&A, so we'll get to the questions in just a moment. But it is of course our first chance of winning some silverware in the series, so I'm really excited. Also a little bit nervous. Also just woken up from a 3-hour kip, and I actually feel really bad. So my throat is kind of all sort of sticky. You know what I mean, when you wake up from a really quick nap and your mouth is all sort of dry, and it's yeah. So if I sound a bit odd, then I do apologise. But yeah, I'm nervous for this. I really want to win, to be honest. I really want to win. For those that aren't aware, by the way, we are in the Europa League next season because we've reached the FA Cup final. Unlike the Capital One Cup final, you don't have to win it. If you get to the final of the FA Cup, you automatically get put into the qualification stages for the next Europa League tournament next season. So that's fantastic. I'm really pleased about that. I completely forgot about it as well. Turned on the PS3 just a minute ago and thought, I just remembered something. So yeah, next year we could have European football if we get through the qualification stage, obviously, which we hope we do. Touch wood, and there you go. So yeah, let's get to the questions actually. And these next gen animations look great as well. The trophy looks fantastic. So yes, but where are we? Let's get to the favourites and answer some questions. That's always nice. Got loads of questions, by the way, guys, so thanks very much for that. I'll try and get through as many as possible, but I'm not entirely sure I'll be able to do as many as I favorited. But the first question comes from Ryan Connolly, and it's a good question for me. He says, is there any way for West Ham to do anything to save their season at all ever? Which of course is in response to the fact that City just got West Ham just got thrashed by Man City in the League Cup semi-final first leg, which I didn't watch because I fell asleep just before the game. So I did the same last night with Man United against Sunderland. Yeah, I think, was it 5-0? I think I only just checked BT Sport. I think it was 5 or 6-0, which is crazy. It's good for me seeing West Ham stutter, obviously, grew at West Ham, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I gotta be honest, as much as I dislike West Ham, I really admire the job that Allardyce has done, and so many people sit there and think, you know, Allardyce is a terrible manager, and I'm going to have a go here from Larson and find the back of the net, but it's saved. So many people think Allardyce is a bad manager, but to be honest, I actually think he's done a really good job with West Ham. You know, he's brought in some fantastic Premier League talent, and you can joke about it all you want, but Andy Carroll's a great striker when he's on his day. He's very powerful, and I think last year as well, you sort of saw him link up with Kevin Nolan a lot. Obviously, those two were once at Newcastle together, and that worked really well. I think when he's on his day and he's working well with the team, Carroll can be a very efficient striker for the team. You know, whether you want to disagree with that or not, that's fine, but especially at a club like West Ham, with if you want to go with the style of football they play, he could fit into it quite nicely. And Carroll's a decent player. Same with Downing, like Premier League experience is there. Joe Cole, of course, back at Upton Park, Premier League experience. And of course they just signed Lassina Traore, and I'm really, really annoyed about that. But I admire the job Allardyce has done. He got them up efficiently, and I was hoping they wouldn't go up by the players, but sadly they did. He got them up efficiently, and they kept them in the league last year. And I still think they'll stay up this year as well. And to be honest, I think they'll be okay. I think a lot of people think that West Ham are going down this year, but I think they're going to be okay. I think the teams around them are weaker overall, and that's what's going to be the downfall, really. Not the fact they're not as strong as they could be. It's the fact that the teams around them are a little bit weaker. A bit like in his career mode, actually. You guys have seen me lose quite a few games coming the end of the season, but the teams around us have been doing terrible. So, hopefully that explains that. It's a shame I have to say that as well, because I would love to see West Ham back in the Championship. Still, wouldn't be much use to us because we might be in League One. That's terrible and good. The next question comes from Jay, and he says, is it difficult to balance YouTube and in real life things on a day-to-day basis? Yeah, it is. It is quite difficult, to be honest, because you never quite know which should take priority. Obviously, you would sit there and say, well, surely, real life things should take priority. But, when you're as sort of, I don't want to say you're as selfless as I am, because it makes me sound a bit stuck up myself, but when you're kind of as why did I do that? When you're kind of as sort of people orientated as me, in the sense that you want to make sure that everyone gets what they need, it kind of sort of makes in real life things less important, and trying to juggle those two balls, can be very difficult. For example, if I'm, because I'm never usually rushing to get a video, I usually have video stockpiled for a few days to give myself a breather if I need one. But if I'm rushing to get a video out for the day and it turns out I've got to do something, which could be quite important, let's just, I don't know, maybe I've got to meet someone for, I don't know, maybe I've got to be, this is risky, maybe I've got to go to some kind of training course or whatever, then yeah, it can be, wow, this is poor. It's gonna go out. Never mind. It can be difficult to balance those two balls, and you never quite know which should take priority. Of course, the real life stuff usually does take priority, but to keep the perfect balance, to make sure you do have enough videos and you do make sure your subscribers are getting interacted with, which is quite a key component with YouTube nowadays, and be able to do all your tasks during the day, it can be quite difficult because a lot of people have this misconception about YouTubers where it takes about 30 minutes to make a very quick video, and once that's over with, you can just sit around and do fuck all during the day. Do you know what I mean? And it's completely wrong. Making one YouTube video can take an absolute age, and I'm giving the ball away so much at the moment, but it's hard to get those two balanced properly. But I haven't really made much sense of that question. Sorry about that. I'm still getting my voice back a little bit, to be honest, but hopefully that does explain things. It's really annoying when you see people, believe that being a YouTuber is the easiest task in the world, because I'm not a YouTuber full time, I should say that. It's not my full time job. I wish it was, but it's not. Which makes things even more hard, to be honest, to balance things. But it's just wide. But it is quite hard to balance the two. Hopefully that explains stuff. Probably not, but never mind. The next question comes from Jake, and he says, thoughts on Ian Holloway taking over at the Den. Yeah, I'm very happy about it. I briefly said on Twitter on Monday, I'm very happy about it. I honestly, I didn't believe we would get Holloway as a manager. I just didn't think that the club would interest him. The only reason I thought it might is because obviously his last job was at Palace, and a lot of people forget with football, when you're a manager or even a player with a family, it's not nice to consistently relocate all the time. And of course with Holloway, with his family, being at Palace, and then not needing to relocate really to the Den. That's the only thing I thought that could be an advantage for us, because obviously his family wouldn't need to move house or anything, and that would sort of swing in his favour a little bit. Obviously so short after leaving Palace as well, but I didn't think we'd actually get Holloway, but we did, and I'm really happy about that, because I think that's the best appointment we could have made, to be honest. I was fearful Harris would get the job, even though he said that he didn't want it. I was fearful he would get the job, and thankfully he didn't. Not because I'm anti-Neil Harris, of course I'm not, but it's just he's not really sort of ready for this management luck just yet. But Holloway's a great appointment. What he did with Blackpool and Palace is just fantastic. And I'm not, a lot of people have been saying, I think a lot of our fans have sort of sensationalised a little bit and saying that, we're going to be up in 2 years and whatnot, and it's not going to happen. We're a club with, still limited resources really when you compare to some of the clubs in the league, and we're also a club that, quite frankly, doesn't have the strongest of squads, and we're also a club that, quite frankly, shouldn't really be looking for those ambitions. We should be looking for championship stability first and foremost. To become a sort of because the league, the championship, is such a changeable league. We need to make sure we can secure ourselves, and make sure we're not always scrapping down the bottom. I want to make sure we sort of. I keep saying I want to make sure, like I'm the manager. This is not career mode. I want to make sure. Well, I want Holloway to make sure that we do become a sort of a club that is stable. Do you know what I mean? In this ever changeable league. And hopefully you can do that. I think you will be able to as well. Hopefully you can do that. It would be lovely. It's a lovely thought to think that, who knows, in 5 years we could be challenging for the playoffs. I don't see it happening, but it would be a lovely thought. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully he brings in a couple of decent players. I'm sure the board are going to be quite lenient with him because Holloway's a likeable person as well. Not just for the fans, but also for the board. So I'm sure he'll get given a bit to work with. Not too much, but a little bit. It's a chance. Oh, we just get the ball away, and Kelvin is, and Bentaleb, it's a wonderful finish. It is a wonderful finish. Right into the top corner, holding midfielder, on loan from Spurs. That is a lovely goal. Right into the top corner. Finish shot OP. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with Holloway in summation. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, Tim says, what do you think of Man City this season, and are they going to win a trophy? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they will, to be honest. I reckon, I haven't actually seen the game, but from what I heard, I was reading the article, they were unbelievably dominant tonight. And I know West Ham are, relatively quite a poor team, an exception, but I think, I liked Mancini, I really did. I liked Mancini, but I think the change to bring Pellegrini in was necessary. I think they were sort of a club that, I wouldn't say you'd taken them as far as they can go, certainly not. But I think with Mancini, they kind of had this complex sort of anxiety when it came down to winning stuff and closing out, what they're looking to achieve. I think the league was a classic example when they won the league, and then of course they almost blew it against QPR at home, stumbling block in the Champions League, couldn't get out of the groups. I know they got given difficult groups, but even so, I think they had this kind of anxiety complex with Mancini, during the transition, and they needed a bit of a change. And I kind of think it's a bit similar to what happened with Southampton and Nigel Adkins and Pochettino. Everyone liked Adkins, no one wanted to see him get the sack. A lot of people thought it was unjustified, and at the time, I guess you can still say it was unjustified, a sacking. But it was more about changing for the better. Oh, that's a great finish. That's a great finish. Not sure who that was, maybe Hernandez. That was great. 1-1. Yeah, I think they kind of needed a change, and I think Pellegrini's going to get them a trophy this year. I really do. I would imagine it probably would be the League Cup as well. I watched the highlights of the Sunderland game last night, and I was unbelievably just, neither of those teams sort of convinced me. Do you know what I mean? It's funny I'm saying that about United, but neither of those teams convinced me, and I'll definitely watch the City highlights after this game. I've played this game, but from what I know, I'd say City look very strong, and I know the League Cup isn't the most coveted of trophies, but I think they'll probably win that this year, and possibly another one. Who knows? Maybe the league. But anyway, next question comes from, where are we? Jack Little. Oh, I think I missed someone out. I'm not sure. The next question comes from Jack Little, and he says, do you think foreign billionaires buying into clubs is a good thing for the game, even if they have small knowledge on the game? It's that's a difficult question. I think it's a mixture of yes and no, and I almost had hiccups there. I think it's a mixture of yes and no, to be honest. I think for certain clubs it can be very good. You look what's happened with Manchester City. But then again, is it good for the game or is it good for the team? Do you know what I mean? I think it's kind of good for the overall. I think it's good for the common sort of neutral fan, if you will. I'm referencing the sort of people that are. Oh, get out of the way when I'm from Pong. I'm referencing the sort of people that are, what you could consider sort of the Asian market, if you will. Do you know what I mean? In Asia, with fans over there. And now they sort of get to see instant success for a club, and when they're watching games in, let's just go with Tokyo or I don't know, let's go with Tokyo or South Korea somewhere. They kind of get to see clubs basically buy powerhouses, and clubs become powerhouses. They strengthen their sides a ridiculous amount. Of course, City is a classic example. and it makes them more drawn to the game. Do you know what I mean? Instead of having to watch a club slowly build up their resources and their players, it of course brings more people to the stadium. You know, again, you know, I'm not sure what the attendance figures are, but I'm sure City's average attendance has rose massively since the takeover. A few years ago. Oh, I think I might have been picked up in the mic. Sorry about that. My bottle just sort of collapsed a little bit. Sorry about that. If you heard just a massive loud crack in the commentary, apologies. Yeah, so I think it's good and bad, really. It depends. I guess it's kind of good for the club, but maybe not so good for the game. You look at a lot of clubs with traditional values that still have sort of you know, chairmen that don't sell and just sort of run their club not the right way, if you will. Like, there's a wrong way to run a club. You know, winning trophies is the right way to win a club, but you know, a club that doesn't get the resources, it kind of makes it a little bit unfair on them. But I guess it depends how you look at it. Really, it's yes and no is the answer to that question, to be honest. But anyway, the next question is from Nick, and he says, why are MCFC so OP at the Etihad, and who's going through, Barca or City? I still believe Barcelona will be winning that tie. I think it's going to be a great tie, I must admit. I think that'll be the tie of the round. I think there could be quite a few goals in that, and it should be really good fun for the neutrals, which I'm looking forward to. And I think, it's a great ball, and that is 2-1. What a great cross that was, whoever that was. Yeah, I think Barcelona will be going through. And I guess, as I said earlier, I think the change that City have made is a lot better for them, you know. Sorry to get some water there. I think City under Mancini, as I said, were a little bit anxious, a little bit, you know, sometimes too defensively set up. And Pellegrini sort of made them, he's given them the freedom, if you know what I mean. Players like Jesus Navas, you know, they've sort of came into the side and they've given them a lot more options on the wing, which, you know, previously they may not have had the most, that may not have been their most strong area. So, I don't know, it's hard to explain really. I guess you just look at the way Pellegrini sets his team up now, and the fact City seem to have a bit more belief than they did when Mancini was there, and I guess that's why they're, you know, they're fantastic. Well, they've always been relatively good at home anyway, so, you know, since a couple of years. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of Mancini because I know a lot of people do, and so many people think he's an overrated manager, which I completely disagree with. But yeah, I think Pellegrini, the change, has really benefit everyone at Man City, and they kind of needed that. They had the great transition under Mancini when they obviously got rid of Mark Hughes, and now they've gone for Pellegrini, and I think that appointment is going to work out really nicely for them. So I think the board have played this fantastically well. Next question comes from Dan John Moore, and I just took my eyes off the screen, and this is the problem with having a computer screen the other side to the TV screen, and I'm going to concede again. I can feel it. Yes, well played. Gutierrez away. Let's go. Come on, Michael Ngu. I know you've got the pace, but you know you can get around Darren Fletcher. He's getting on. Come on, Ngu. Keep going. Cross it in. Carrasco at the far post. Oh god. Frimpong. Dench. Bentelet. Oh no, that's terrible. Oh wait, Frimpong again. Oh, Frimpong, great chance. Oh, that's blocked. Carrasco, surely. Yes, great finish, Brian Carrasco. Oh, by the way, a lot of people ask me how I do this celebration. You flick the right stick counterclockwise. You know, keep turning it counterclockwise and hold L1, or if you're on Xbox, I think that'll be LB. Anyway, next question comes from Dan John Moore, and he says, "Who do you think are the most overrated and underrated players on the planet?" I don't really like to answer these type of questions because I always seem to piss a lot of people off, and they're like, "Oh, how could you forget about this player? How could you say that player's overrated?" and so on. You know, I guess like the classic example for every single sort of common football fan would be Tom Cleverley is overrated. He can only pass the ball 5 yards and he always goes backwards. Oh, and what's up with Yashley Young? He's always diving. He's a terrible footballer. Lol, at footy humour, retweet 1,000 times. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I don't like to answer those questions because I seem to piss everyone off, and people think I'm biased towards Manchester United as well. No, I'm not, and I'm not anti-Liverpool either. Do you know what? Since a lot of people seem to think I'm anti-Liverpool and biased towards Manchester United, I'm going to say the most underrated player in the game is Luis Suarez. He's the best player of all time, and I think the most overrated player is every single player's ever won a Manchester United shirt ever. So there you go. I just get so much hate for the wrong reasons, you know what I mean? There are so many reasons to hate me, but not for thinking I'm biased towards United and against Liverpool. And people think I'm biased against Arsenal as well. I don't understand it. Anyway, I don't understand why people think that, to be honest. Oh well. Next question comes from Lynch, and I'll get to it in just a moment, but this has been a great final, by the way. I did fancy some goals in this final, and thank God it has delivered as well. Oh, it's a great ball. Come on, Eden Nilsson, you can get there. Oh, come on, Zaha, don't win it. Yes. Nyland is there, and I know I pronounced that wrong. I read all your comments, but I still can't figure out what the right pronunciation is of Nyland, so I'm going to keep calling him that. Oh, come on, that's a terrible touch. That's an absolutely terrible one. I still believe I can win this game in extra time if I take it there, but my defending is quite poor, you know. Look how far on the pitch Bentelev is. I think he's got a medium work rate. So I used to think he was medium and high, but I think he's medium. He's done brilliantly well since Trotter's been injured, by the way. I know I'm controlling him, so obviously, you know, it's dependent on how I do. But he's, you know, to think about it, if this game was sort of dictated by the AI, you'd be amazed how good Bentelev's been. Definitely worth considering picking up on a permanent deal next year. That definitely went out, ref. That went out. That surely went out 3-2. Jesus Christ, this game. You guys are surely going to be enjoying this. Anyway, Lynch says, how do you think you can promote your channel? I'm not sure if that means sort of in general, and you're wondering how you can promote your channel yourself. I don't know. I mean, there's loads of ways of promotion. Do you know what I mean? Networking is obviously the most sort of prominent one. I don't know. I guess it just depends on how you look at it. Like for me, I'm not interested in promotion. Do you know what I mean? I produce my content, and if people enjoy it, good. And that's all I care about. Do you know what I mean? Promotion isn't really my sort of area of expertise, to be honest. So I don't really know how to answer that question. I guess if you're asking this question yourself, you know, trying to figure out how you can make your channel bigger, or anyone can make their channel bigger, I guess just networking is the classic example. Find people around your sort of subscriber level and network with them. I can't believe it's 3-2, man. I just can't defend at the moment. I mean, obviously Gutierrez is 68 overall, I think, which isn't great, but I expect to do a little bit better than this. It's not really Gutierrez's fault, it's my weak defending, to be honest. I need a goal back. I really don't want to lose this final. I'm glad because, you know, we've got European football next year, if we qualify, which hopefully we will, but I really wanted this, you know, the first chance at winning silverware, and, you know, to get it would have been lovely. That was poor from me there. And Gui's a decent striker, I must admit. I'm starting to use him more and enjoying him quite a bit, but he's a little bit slow. He's not actually that slow considering, you know, his height, but I could do with him being a little bit faster. Oh, where am I going here? Don't want to give this ball away. There we go. Right, I'll get to the next question in just a moment, but I kind of want to wait for the... Oh, God, I can't seem to turn my defenders either. Usually I've got no problem with beating them. And stop crossing the ball in. It's ridiculous to try and beat... Oh, come on the break. Yes. Oh, no, how am I failing to get round these defenders? This is never a problem when I play without the live commentary. It's the pressure of recording a commentary whilst I'm playing. It's making me nervous. And I will get to the next question in just a moment, but I don't want to take my eyes off the screen. Stop crossing it to Van Persie! Oh, for goodness sake. For goodness sake. It's impossible to beat the AI in the air. It's ridiculous. Jesus Christ. Next question comes from... can't read his name. I think it's just a little dash, I'm not sure. Anyway, he says the guy that has an Ultimate Team card as his name, as his profile picture. He says, do you think Man United will get into the top 4 by the end of the season? If not, will Moyes be sacked? No. Sorry, no to the latter. You know, at the start of the season I was saying, you know, pretty much all through the first half of the season I was saying they'll get into the top 4, don't worry about it. You know, I know it's been a slow start, but they'll still be there. Now I'm starting to have a few doubts. You know, a lot of... God. How do I say this without sounding biased towards Manchester United? Oh God, so difficult. No, I mean I don't know. Like I was doubtful at first. Sorry, I was pretty convinced they would still be getting into the top 4, even with their slow start. But now I'm starting to have some doubts, and I'm also going to bring on Dongu because Ngu's not kind of today. I was believing that they'd definitely get there come the first half of the season, but now I am starting to have some doubts they'll do it. I still think they will. I still think they'll get into the top 4. However, I wouldn't be surprised anymore. Do you know what I mean? In the first half of the season, if they didn't get to the top 4 come the end of the season, I would have been like, wow, that's a real shock. But now, I won't be surprised if they don't get into the top 4. I still believe they will. I won't be surprised. As for David Moyes, no, he's been given a 6-year contract, and the United board aren't stupid, and they're not going to sack him after one season. You know, regardless of the performance, he could finish in 17th place and he'd still keep his job, in my opinion, because it's a 6-year deal. It will cost them an absolute fortune to replace him, and quite frankly, I think people would look at what Moyes has done, and a lot of top-class managers would look at how Moyes would do if he underperforms and think, well, screw going to that club, do you know what I mean? Because it's clearly too difficult of a task to replace Ferguson. So, yeah, I think Moyes will be fine, and I'm really, really annoyed, guys, because I was 2-1 up, I think. Was I 2-1 up? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was. And, oh, God, 4-2, man. The defending, I can't remember their goals, but I'm pretty sure they scored at least 3 headers. Maybe not. Hernandez scored one from range, didn't they? And, oh, maybe it was 2 headers, actually, I'm not sure. Even so, I just can't seem to contain them at the moment. Stop crossing the damn ball in. Come on, I can't get a foothold in the game. I've completely lost it. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness gracious me. I'm just falling all over the place. Anyway, next question comes from Nabrigas. What a lovely name. And he says, Negredo just destroyed West Ham. Signing of the season? Possibly. I have to admit, I was annoyed because I brought him into my fantasy team after he had a good few weeks, and he didn't score any goals for me. Took him out, and he started to play amazingly well again, which is just typical my luck. He possibly the signing of the season. I would still say Mesut Ozil, which would be a surprise to those Arsenal fans to think I'm saying that. I would still say Ozil because I still believe he's sort of at the moment beginning to transform the club mentally. You know what I mean, with their, making sure the club can now believe they can start to win trophies again and become a very dominant team. So I'd still say Ozil because I think it's more about the mentality of what he's done to Arsenal. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. A lot of people don't pick up on that. Do you know what I mean? The club is so much more, stronger now mentally now that Ozil's in there. So. Oh, God. I can't even pass the ball. I'm so sorry, guys. I really wanted to win this trophy. But I can't seem to win the ball and play it properly anymore. I've just seemed to lose it completely. Come on, Jack Robinson. Piss off, Valencia. I don't know what I'm doing. I've lost it. I've lost all ability today. Ah, dear. But I mean, I'm pretty pleased because the aim of this season was to stay up in the Premier League, and we've done that. But to win a trophy as well would have been really, really nice. And sadly, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Unless I can spark one last attack. And I just realised I'm still unbalanced. There's Larson. Come on. Come on, Larson. I need a runner. No, not you. No, not to that person. This is what I mean. Everyone seems to sort of disappear. Robinson onto it. I want to give it to Carrasco. I'm going to give the ball away there, aren't I? Great cross in. Oh, that's actually really poor. That went straight to De Gea. How comes their crosses are so accurate and mine aren't? Next question comes from Sven. And hang on a minute. Come on, man. I really want to get to extra time. Eddie Nielsen. Come on. You got enough to get past the heart. Come on. Piss off, Butner. Jesus, it's just ridiculously hard, the AR and Legendary. I hope you guys are sort of seeing in this game how frustrating it can be. You can't seem to... That's a lovely ball. You can't seem to do... Oh my goodness gracious me. That would have been a great chance because I saw Carrasco was making a run. It's so ridiculously hard, man. And none of the subs I would have made a difference, to be honest. Maybe Stanislas could have came on, but... Sod it. I might as well just rest them and just play out the rest of the season now. I guess we'll just have to make this a sort of a chance for us to sort of redeem ourselves next time. But there you go, we've lost the FA Cup final, and that is gutting. That is gutting. We were 2-1 up as well, Jesus Christ. Look at that, Van Persie with a hat-trick. Oh dear. Let me just quickly answer another question. It comes from Sven, and he says, do you think communism would ever work, or is mankind's greediness stronger than communist ideology? Do I have to answer that question now, after this? Oh, screw it. I'm sorry, Sven, but I'm going to actually ignore your question for another day. Do you know what? I'll keep that question in my favourites list, and the next time I'm doing a live commentary, I'll answer it then. But this is sickening. I'm really annoyed as well, because I couldn't seem to defend in this game at all. I know my defence is quite weak naturally, but we kept a clean sheet against United in midweek with a weak side. How did we let in 4 goals here? Ridiculous. Frustrating as hell, man. I really feel we should have done better than this. But there you go. Sickening signs, sickening scenes, whatever. Once again, we're the losers, United are the winners. Oh dear. Oh well, I do apologise. My performance in that game was quite poor. Bentaleb's goal was quite nice, but my performance was quite poor. But I guess we'll have to get redemption next year. And I guess it doesn't matter too much, because the Europa League, we're going to be playing in that next year if we qualify in our qualification games, if EA have that implemented, which I'm sure they have. And we're also safe for the next season. So I guess this would have been a bonus. Do you know what I mean? This would have been a bonus how we won the FA Cup. Would have been a nice bonus, but there you go. We didn't win it, and we'll just have to remain ever frustrated that our first chance at winning silverware has slipped through our fingers. But look at that. Look at that. 4 shots on target and they scored. Hernandez from a mile out, which I thought Nyland might have been able to do a little bit better by. And I'm sure 2 of those Van Persie goals were headers. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh well. Look at that possession as well. It's 44-56. It's not that bad, but then you see the pass accuracy, 89%. You think, oh, well, that was difficult to get the ball off them, wasn't it? Still, there you go. Yeah, as always, guys, a big thank you for watching today's video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Again, apologies I didn't win the final. I was really hoping I would, but there you go. If you can leave a like, that's much appreciated. It really does help my channel out. It will make me feel better as well. If we can get to like 700 likes, I'll be very, very happy. So if we can get 700 likes on this video, I will be absolutely delighted, and it really does mean a lot to me. And oh well, De Niro did better than me. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed today's video. Again, apologies I couldn't win, but if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like anyway. And yeah, I will see you for the next episode of Career Mode tomorrow. Sometime, I don't know when, but I'll see you tomorrow for another episode.